Good morning, yogis. There's sunlight streaming in through my window, so it's quite bright. I just finished a practice on Zoom, so I'm a little pink-cheeked. Well, I'm always a little pink-cheeked, but I'm a little extra pink-cheeked. What I'm doing for the month of April and the first day of May, because I wanted to extend it for 30 days, including May Day, is I'm gonna do a mindfulness practice every day, just a few minutes. I'll try to record one for every day, less than 8 minutes, between like 5 and 8 minutes. Excuse me. So it can be a little bit longer. If you want to extend it out at your house, you can always stop the video and then you can do whatever it is that I'm instructing or suggesting. You can do that for longer. Today what I'm going to do is an eating meditation, and I've done this a couple times in different ways or different formats, and I'm going to do this today with this little tangerine. But this is one of my favorite things to do with a fresh green salad. Fresh green salads have so much vibrancy, and because it's cold, the food hasn't kind of melded, so there's little individual nuggets of flavor depending on what you put in your salad. I love to put peppers and onions and olives and nuts and cheese, along with a whole bunch of different kinds of greens when I can get them. And the carrots and all kinds of different vegetables, so that the salad itself has lots of different little things to taste. And slowing down and taking a few moments to really mindfully and carefully eat is something that's a privilege and a real way of really connecting to what we're eating. So I'm kind of leaning forward here. I'm sitting in my little beanbag chair with my elbows resting on my knees, but hopefully you can see what I'm up to. So I've got this tangerine, and the way that I normally eat a snack is kind of fast, like maybe while I'm doing something else. And so this is really, mindful eating is really about slowing down and appreciating the real beauty of what we're given as a meal, and especially our connection to nature, and the creatures out there that are supporting us. We are a part of the natural world, and in many ways I feel that we've kind of gotten out of balance with our place in nature. And so it's nice as on an individual soul level to come back home and to really appreciate what nature offers us and our relationship to nature. So as I'm holding this tangerine, I'm feeling the weight of it in my hand. I'm noticing the beautiful orange color. Like, not very many things in nature have that really gorgeous orange, and it's such an inviting color, and this texture of the skin is sort of bumpy and a little wobbly, and that feels kind of nice. And so just take a moment to appreciate the just the beauty of something created by nature. You can, if you look at the end of the tangerine where the flower bud was, you can see the little remnants of the flower. It still has the little teeny tiny petals that were holding that bud in place. And I can just remove that little flower. Oh, it came away with such a cool little pop. You can look at that little flower bud in and of itself and really appreciate the beauty. There's a little 5-pointed star that's made from that little bud end. Probably the petals had 5 little petals, like a star pointing out. And if I look just at I'm going to zoom this in on the camera. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. Can you see how there's almost like a little star pattern right there on that tangerine? So that's really lovely. Now you might have something else. Maybe you're eating a salad right now, or you have an apple or a banana or a Girl Scout cookie. Who knows? Whatever you want to mindfully eat, yogis, you can mindfully eat anything. I'm a fan of using something natural because it has so many more experiences. But baked goods are also delightful. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to break the skin of this tangerine. So I'm going to put my thumb in here and use my nail. Oh. And that sound that I heard and the smell that's now coming to my nostrils from having broken the skin, and the essential oil in the skin kind of entering the air space around me. So I smell that amazing, an amazing smell. And so I'm gonna just take a few moments and appreciate peeling this tangerine. And if you have something that peels, do the same. I love the texture on the inside of a tangerine or an orange or a lemon, anything that's citrusy. The texture on the inside is so, like, you can see these little veins and the texture is kind of velvety. Oh, it's really amazing. So peel your tangerine all the way, or whatever you're munching on, all the way out. And then look at this last little bit. So I'm gonna set the I'm just gonna hold this tangerine in one hand while I just kind of appreciate this skin. Kind of bring it back to its little shape. Oh. Most of the volatile oils that we use in essential oils that are citrus are coming from the rind. And so the rind is where those really delicious smells are located. So I'm going to set my little rind off to the side here, and now I'm going to come back to my tangerine and just appreciate the beauty of this. So tangerines and other citrus fruits grow in these little segments, and you can start to sort of see how the little segments hold together, and each little segment has a membrane, and then within each little membrane section are teeny tiny little pockets, little packets of juice. And so as I open this, there's just kind of wonderful little sound of the little segments coming away. And there's these little teeny tiny segments, also some larger ones. And so I'm gonna take my first little segment. I'm gonna take a few little moments just to peel away some little extras and enjoy that little velvety soft texture. Oh, it's almost like cotton candy. Except natural cotton candy. So I'm gonna take one little section, this teeny tiny baby segment, and I'm just gonna feel the weight of it on my tongue and the texture before I bite down. And then bite down. So the texture of these little packets is very unusual. And the first time I did this with a tangerine, I was actually sort of surprised at how waxy almost the texture was. I'd never really noticed that before. So do that, you're gonna do that with every segment. You're just gonna put it in your mouth, feel it for a moment, kind of feel the salivation kind of kick in, and then bite down and chew up your segment or whatever you're doing. Now, if you're a person who is disturbed by chewing sounds, this might be the time to pause the video, wait for me to get all the way through this part, and then kick back in at the end while you eat your own tangerine. But otherwise, we're just gonna keep going together. Sometimes an individual section has a little different flavor than a section before it. And that's a fun little discovery. That one has slightly different taste again. I'm almost done, just a few more sections, so I'm going to really try to appreciate these last few. Now, after I finish this last little segment, I'm going to just take a moment and appreciate the kind of changing landscape of sensation and taste that happens at the very end. And like the taste of the tangerine kind of slowly fades. I'm, noticing the sensation of that food having entered my stomach. And there's kind of slight change in sensation there. I can still smell the tangerine, and I can still feel this kind of slightly fuzzy feeling on my fingers from this having peeled it. And that's kind of fun and interesting. So essentially, this is the practice. So you spend a few moments with whatever it is you're going to eat for that day, or maybe you do it once a week as kind of a special thing. Just depends on how you could do it for every meal, and that is probably it's definitely an area where I want to go into, where every meal I take time to sit and really appreciate it. There are definitely times where I'm trying to multitask and eat while I'm simultaneously catching up on the news or something like that. But if you can take some time just to really appreciate the food that you're given, especially in a time like right now where there's a sense that we may not have the same amount of food security that we've been used to. I'm used to going to the grocery store and being able to buy anything I want in that grocery store, and not really having to even think about where can I get ginger root. It's there, and that's not something that is easily produced here in this country, especially in the winter. So we've had these global food supplies that we've kind of come to rely on, and now is the time to really appreciate the food that we have. And if you have a relationship with a local farmer, or some other relationship with someone, or even grow your own food, you can make it even more of a practice of mindfulness and even prayerfulness. So thanks, yogis, for joining me. Join me every day on this YouTube channel in the playlist that says 30 Days of Mindfulness. I'm going to put every video in that playlist. And if you are inclined to do so, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel down below. There's a little subscribe button. You can like the video. That gets more people an opportunity to see the video, because I don't know how the algorithm works exactly, but somehow liking it brings it up the list when people start searching for things. And then also, if you want to know when I post something new, you can click on the little bell icon, and that will give you a notification when I post a new video. So I'm also going to include down below the tags to the links to my website, my social media. So if you want to know that information, you can look there, and you can also leave me a comment down below and let me know what you'd like to see as a mindfulness practice. Thanks, yogis. Namaste.